Joining us now from South Australia, from Adelaide, I should say, Liberal Senator Alex Antic. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. So presumably it works the other way as well. So are you looking to book a trip to New South Wales anytime soon?
Well, look, I guess thanks for having me, Pete. Look, I guess the answer to that is why would you go anywhere else other than South Australia? I mean, I best expect there will be an influx of people coming here first and foremost. It's great news for SA. We've got, I guess, the school holidays coming up, and we've got plenty of attractions for people to come and see. It's really, I see it as being great reward for both states, New South Wales and SA, for the great job they've done in managing the crisis. We're now going to see an opportunity for people to continue to travel between those states. And from New South Wales' point of view, they've got the opportunity to come here and visit some of our brilliant wine regions, the best wine regions in the world, of course, as you know, and the Yorke Peninsula, which is fantastic beaches, and the Eyre Peninsula. So it's a great shot in the arm. And what it says to the community is there is a path through this pandemic and a path back to normality, and it's a great place to be for South Australia and, of course, New South Wales as well.
For people in New South Wales, with Victoria and Queensland basically out of play at the moment, do you sense that there is an opportunity for South Australia to basically steal that money for tourism and hopefully hold on to it?
Well, look, I would be encouraging everyone to come and visit. We do. I think New South Wales is the second largest generator of tourism revenue for South Australia, just behind Victoria. And of course, Victoria's closed to the border now. And look, I mean, obviously Queensland has its appeal, but South Australia, I spent a lot of time on the road in our regions, and there are a lot of hidden gems floating around out here. And I think people will find the opportunity to come to South Australia entirely refreshing. We've got places like Kangaroo Island, for example, which doesn't see as much tourism as it should, and the locals probably won't be happy with that because they love keeping it a secret. But it's magical terrain, and it's a great opportunity for people from all over the country to come and experience South Australia.
It's good news for people in South Australia and also New South Wales as well. And New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian shared that sentiment yesterday. But she was hopeful that there would be a more solid medium to long-term goal now if there is another case of community transmission that pops up. So what would you suggest should be the medium to long-term goal now to keep that border open?
Well, look, I think it's critical that it does. I mean, this is a bit as the Prime Minister described several months back. It's a little bit about coming out from under the doona. And I think what we've shown here in South Australia is that this can be managed despite the occasional incident, as you described earlier on in the segment. Here in SA, we've got the second highest per capita testing regime and one of the world's leading contact tracing regimes. And it shows that with proper management, proper execution, we can get back to normal as soon as humanly possible. And I think New South Wales had experienced the same thing.
But there can't be another shutdown, though, can there?
No, look, I think what we've seen again is a complete delineation between the experience in other states. So, we've had this fortress mentality in WA, which, obviously is working for them. And then we've had the police state mentality from Victoria. And I think that really does show how slippery this slope is. And certainly that's not something we ever want to see replicated anywhere in Australia, but certainly not in SA. And the shutdown model, I would say, is not the way to go and not working.
Just finally, the JobSeeker supplement is being wound back tomorrow. I'm wondering what your constituents are telling you about that.
Well, look, I think the entire program has been a great success. I mean, we're hearing that loud and clear, and put in conjunction with the other models that have been thrown out, the Home Builder program, JobSeeker, JobKeeper, the suite of packages really have allowed businesses to stay afloat in this time. We're talking about something in the order of 3.5 million workers that have accessed JobKeeper, 900,000 businesses. So, look, I think people are keen to get back to normal. There are parts of the package which just are always going to be a one-size-fits-all, and so the refining of this program, I think, is going to be welcomed. We've seen, several examples over the course of, employers complaining about people perhaps not turning up to work sometimes because they're getting the JobKeeper payment, I should say. So I think as we iron out the kinks, we'll see that develop. But the truth is that we're spending $300 billion on these programs, and at some point, once again, to use that phrase, we have to come out from under the doona and get people re-engaged with the labour market. And I think employers and employees both will welcome that.
But when that labour market isn't doing so well, is now the right time to essentially be halving the rate of JobSeeker?
I think it is. I mean, at the end of the day, this program is costing real money, and there needs to be a program to come back into what was previously a full market. I accept that there are downturns coming ahead of us and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to find an exit out, and I think this is a very reasonable staged program.
Okay, Alex Antic, Liberal Senator from South Australia. Appreciate your time speaking to us live from Adelaide this morning.